Okay, so I just picked up a collection. This is a very interesting collection. I'm going to go through it. I'm not going to go through the boxes individually, but it's got some silver and Bronze Age Hulk. It's got a lot of World's Finest. All these need to be bagged and boarded. It does have moderns. There's some modern keys in here. There are Golden Age books. Some a little bit of superhero, but a lot of other stuff. There's stuff all over the back seat here. I really have to work. I think I'm gonna start to unload this. It's gonna take a while to process because, as you can see, a lot of stuff needs to be bagged and boarded. There are some big keys. So in some of the past videos recently, I've gone through the entire collection, book by book, box by box, and you've seen everything. This is, I think, too large for that, and I really have to process what the keys are, because with a lot of this, the Golden Age stuff, I'm not sure if there are any quote-unquote keys. And there's also quite a few adult books in here, which are really weird and niche, and stuff that I certainly am not interested in collecting, but I know people are, and I try to keep the channel PG, and there's stuff in here that's definitely not PG. So anyway, hopefully right after this, which will be a moment for you and a long time for me, we'll start to take a look at the keys. I would like to thank everyone who has supported the channel, all of you that have watched and commented, liked, and subscribed. And in thank you for that, I am going to be doing my long-awaited 4,000 subscriber giveaway here on the channel. It's going to be at 9:30 Eastern Time on Monday, June 5th, just prior to my usual Monday Whatnot sale. And we're going to be giving away, for 4,000 subscribers, 4,000 prize packages. Fourth prize is going to be this Daredevil graphic novel by Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz. Actually, there's 3 books in each giveaway. This newsstand copy of X-Men 7, this classic Jim Lee cover with Wolverine and Omega Red. And Uncanny X-Men 283, the first full appearance of Bishop. That's fourth prize. Third prize is going to be this 8.5 white pager newsstand edition of Venom Lethal Protector #1. Get that in focus. In addition to that, Ghost Rider 28, the first cameo appearance of the Midnight Suns. And this Batman Death in a Family trade paperback. Those 3 are going to be the second prize. Third prize. Second prize. Captain Britain and MI13 #5. This is where Blade joins the team. This is a variant cover. The Marvel version of Miracle Man #1. And very big thank you to Streetside Anthony for donating this copy of Axe X-Men #1 variant cover in 9.8 white pager. Look at that beauty. That is Salvador Larroca. And then the first prize, and we're going to select the prizes in reverse order. Wolverine #3 limited series, Frank Miller and Chris Claremont. This great Michael Turner cover of Superman Batman 10, and Infinite Crisis 5, first appearance of Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle, 9.6 white pager. The way you can enter the giveaway, any one of the videos that I dropped during the month of May, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. You have to like the video. You have to leave an appropriate comment. The video that, when we do the giveaway, has the fewest comments is the one we're going to select the winner from. And we'll use a random number generator. We'll select the fourth prize, then third, then second, then first. I will ship anywhere in the U.S. Internationally, we can work something out on the expenses for shipping. So I'm already over 4,200 subscribers, so we're on the road. This is the next step on the road to 5,000 subscribers. It's been a couple of years since I started this channel. It has been a lot of fun to produce these videos for the comic book community. I'd like to thank everyone again for stopping by and watching my videos, and, you know, saying stuff to me when you see me at shows or at flea markets or whatever. It's been a lot of fun, so we want to keep that fun, positive energy up. So you don't have to be present for the giveaway. The giveaway video will be active for after the show, so you can check out to see if you won. And again, that's going to be on Monday, June 5th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So 4 giveaway packages. Now on with our regular programming. Hey there, panelologists. This is Jim welcoming you to another video here at Bronzeville Comics. Before we get started, Instagram, Bronzeville_comics, whatnot, Bronzeville_comics. We do sales every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and there is a link in the description of this video that will get you $10 off your first purchase if you sign up using that link. Doesn't have to be with me. It can be with any vendor. You'll get $10 off. And also in the description, a link to my eBay store as well as my email. So if there are any books that I show that I'm going to potentially sell that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me. We can work out a deal, especially if I don't have to pay fees to any other third party. So I got a call from somebody I deal with fairly regularly, and they had more comics in. And so I went over and took a look, and what was nice about this was that it was a mixture. Now, usually what happens is, since these guys, they work at cleaning out houses or taking in collections, you know, a whole bunch of different ways of getting inventory, and not just comic books. They deal with a whole bunch of other things, you know, coins, cards, jewelry, etc. And so what they'll do is they'll try to bring it in and get it out the door. So as we were kind of figuring out like when I could meet up and go over there and take a look, it was actually 3 separate collections. One collection was mostly Gold and Silver Age, a big mixture of stuff, and Bronze as well. Some good superhero stuff, some more eclectic Golden Age stuff, and some underground comics, and some really curious adult comics. The adult comics I'm not going to feature on this channel because that's not what this channel is about, and I'm going to have to try to figure out the best way to get those out of my house, because there's certainly not anything I collect in there. There is one big grail that we'll save till the end, that basically, you know, I've been searching for a while, and now hopefully, you know, if I can sell the majority, the rest of the collection, get it for free. So there was a lot of that. So and that stuff was in pretty decent shape. Then there was a modern collection, and that's there were a bunch of keys in there. Those books were generally bagged and boarded. And then there was a copper to modern collection where there was a great deal of variability in the condition. Some of the stuff was in decent shape. Some of it was really rough. And whoever the collector was, so it came from, I guess, 3 different people. And then we made a deal on one collection of all 3 of these mini collections. The last part was just kind of a throw-in. There were a couple of, like, I think one long, one short of the lower grade stuff. But was interesting to me as I was going through the collection and sorting it, at the back of one of the boxes, and I have flipped through everything, but there were some books I missed the first time around. And as I flipped through everything, I was like, oh, that's interesting. There's top loaders in the back. And I was kind of going through book by book and cataloging it and, you know, checking kind of condition. I'm like, top loaders, maybe these are really nice books that maybe something slipped by me, and I saw there was stuff of value in there, and there were some good keys, but they were just all foil covers. If it was foil, it went in a top loader, and there was a copy that was just completely wrecked of what is it, Infinity Crusade #1, that was like a 4.0 that was in a top loader. So we're gonna break this down. And we're going to kind of break it down. When I went through the collection, I sorted it, put the adult stuff in one box, put the silver and bronze DC stuff in one box, the Marvel in another box, and then the miscellaneous Golden Age aside and the modern stuff aside. So let's kind of go through it piece by piece, and let's start with the Golden Age stuff. I've been sorting this collection. It's still a mess. I got a tower of comics. So those are mostly moderns, and like a bunch of dollar bin fodder. Some other stuff I have to go through with a little more jaundiced eye. It was a really weird collection. There were about half a dozen books in top loaders in the back of one box. And one of the books in the top loader was, and it was a copy of Infinity Crusade #1 that was absolutely destroyed. It was like a 4.0, but basically the top loaders had nothing but foil books. So this is all like Western, and I'm not sure if this is Kirby or not. Western Gunsmoke, Adventures of the Jaguar, and some Archie stuff, a whole bunch of Dell and Gold Key. That's a pretty nice Golden Age. There were a number of Golden Age books in here. All different, some romance. There's a bunch of Looney Tunes, no big Looney Tunes keys. So some TV adaptations, Classics Illustrated. Walt Disney was so plentiful in the 50s. Girls' romances, girls' love stories, Crime Doesn't Pay, issues like that, Candy, that's from Quality Comics, Real Clue, 1940s Bugs Bunny, another young romance. I'm pretty sure this has Kirby art in it. Outer Limits, Classics Illustrated, Korak, Time Tunnel, Magnus, Ripley's, covered more romance and kind of funny books. There's the bulk of this. Sad sack. There's quite a few Looney Tunes, as I said. Romantic Secrets, All True Crime. That was pretty cool. And then here, this is a more recent one. I think that's from the 70s. Captain Nice. That actually, I think, I looked up who that is. That was a TV show that ran for like half a season. It was kind of in response to Batman in 1966. Melvin Monster, almost a complete run of Melvin Monster. The Three Stooges, I think that's Curly Joe DeRita era. Pink Panther, Stella Charlton, Atlas. That is a reprint of Crime Suspense Stories. More Atlas, Classics Illustrated, Turok. Carvel Comics are 2 of the issues. That's a bronze issue. There's another, more Melvin. E-Man. That's Underground Comics. I have to see if this is a cool book. Unfortunately, I picked this up recently on eBay, a really nice copy. This is a decent copy, but unfortunately it does not have the poster inside. So, but still, that's First Planet of the Apes in comics. Some Atlas, that is also adult. Well, not much of that. I have to move that to another. Fat Man and the Human Flying Saucer. Fantastic Voyage. Movie adaptation. Boy Comics. Campus Loves. Jungle. Topanga. Hot Rod. Lady and the Tramp album. Again, the Disney books. Roy. Nice the round table. Some nice Gold Key. Frankenstein Classics Illustrated. I don't think that's the first print. Gene Autry. Bugs Donald. Hubby. Lone Ranger. More Looney Tunes. Okay. Western Red Rider. Popeye cover there. Joe Palooka. This is an interesting book. This is the Private Life of Double Life of Private Strong. I think it has Jack Kirby interiors, if I remember correctly. Somebody once paid 3 cents for it. Unfortunately, low grade staples, extra staples on the cover. But this is from Archie Adventure Series. This contains the first appearance of The Fly. So that's a little bit of a key mix. Golden West Love. Real True Crime, Special Books, Romantic Story, Young Men. This is after the Time of Heroes era, Young Brides. And this book is a key. This is, it's 4-color, $9.90. It's the first appearance of Yogi Bear in comic books. Huckleberry Hound was one of the early Rankin Bass shows that premiered in 1958. And there were 3 segments to each show. Huckleberry Hound was the lead. Yogi Bear was one of the other segments. And I think, was that Pixie and Trixie? Pair of mice with a cat. They were the third feature. Basically, you'd get like about 8 minutes of cartoon commercial, 8 minutes of cartoon commercial, 8 minutes of cartoon in a half an hour. But Yogi Bear became quite popular and got his own show in his own right. So that's a nice key. I think the Yogi Bear book will do well with a clean and a press. So now let's take a look at some of the modern keys. And there were a broad range. I just kind of threw some stuff aside. This is, first full appearance of Omega Red. This is When Angel Loses His Wings, I believe, newsstand. First appearance of Onslaught. This is interesting. I was, unfortunately, this was part of the kind of lower grade collection. There's some spine ticks on it, but it's Wolverine 55, this variant cover. That kind of, what is it, Crime Suspense Stories homage. There's X-Force 2. This didn't have the poly bag, didn't have the card, but this is the second appearance of Deadpool. I guess, is this third appearance? And then there was the Daredevil. Was this the first and second appearance of Echo? Right? These are probably contenders, and those will be the CGC pile. This is the first Lady Bullseye. Right? There's a big run of Daredevil in the modern part of this collection. Then I was just pulling some other stuff. This, I think, is the second appearance of Sam Alexander. A versus X #1. Avengers versus X-Men. And Earth 2 #1. Captain America 25. This is the death of Captain America, and there was a variant. First appearance of Pepper Potts as Rescue. I guess that's the key status of that book has come and gone. I doubt we're going to see Gwyneth Paltrow suit up again. We had this. This is where she takes on the Rescue name. So those are minor little keys. These books, was interesting. This particular run was double boarded. And what I mean by that, they had boards on both sides of the book. You couldn't even see the book. They just had written on the board what was inside. X Factor #1. This is really high grade. These are really sharp copies. This, though, may have one spine tick or something. This could be, it's at least a 9.6. First appearance of Apocalypse, X Factor #6. First appearance of Archangel, #24. Scar, Son of Hulk, #1, both covers. Oh, wait, the Daredevil 58, that was not Lady Bullseye, was it? This is the first appearance of Angela Del Toro, who does become the White Tiger. And I've talked about that character before. Will Jenna Ortega take on that mantle? This is a variant cover, but it's not a ratio variant. Daredevil 111, the first appearance of Lady Bullseye. This I was really happy to find. And there's the potential that we'll see this character again in the MCU. People were not thrilled with his first appearance, but it is What If, featuring Planet Hulk #1, a one-shot. First appearance of Scar, son of Hulk. Nice. If that's a 9.8, that's a nice book. Wolverine Old Man Logan #1. I've actually come across this book like 3 times in the last few months. And then his second appearance, which is the first appearance of Spider Bitch. I'm not even sure. I should read that to see what that's all about. Then Invincible Iron Man #1, this Robert Downey Jr. photo cover. They're a 9.8 of this. And I'm not saying this is a 9.8, but I'm not saying it's not. A 9.8 of this just sold, not a signature, not anything like that, just a standard Blue Label 9.8 for over $1,200. I don't believe it's that rare, but maybe I'll get it graded and see what happens. Then, here's another Old Man Logan, third appearance. Then X-Force #1. This is the second series. And there's a variant, which is worth a little bit more, where Wolverine's claws are bloody. Not bloody, bloody. Captain Britain and MI13 #1, and a variant of #1. I don't know if there was a #5. And then this Secret Invasion tie-in. This is just a Mighty Avengers #13. That's an homage to was it Avengers, I'm thinking 16 with the new lineup. Anyway, that was really some really good books there, some good moderns. A few of those, probably the Echoes, the What If with Scar, maybe the Old Man Logan. Some of those, I looked at them and I think they're 9.8 contenders. Maybe the Lady Bullseye. A few others, definitely the Apocalypse. Will be going out to CGC. I kind of got to dig through those a little bit more and throw them in the CGC box. Okay, so I'm just going to go through. I mean, there's a lot of DC here. Some Silver and Bronze Age Batmans. Some of these adventures with the Spectre. I'm not even sure what number World's Finest this is because it got broken off. Some really awesome Bronze 100-page Batmans. Yeah, a lot of World's Finest from the Silver Age, even into the Bronze. When this was a point in time when they were using the Superman team-up title. I believe that's an Adams cover. But Silver, Batman 80-page Giant. This is actually, I think, 80-page Giant #6, which is a Superman book. A lot of plop. I think maybe the entire run of Supergirl. I have to check that. Some really awesome, that's a Neil Adams cover. Adventure comics with a lot of Legion in there. Even like this 10-cent adventure. That's cool. Some action. So it was kind of Superman heavy, at least in the Silver Age stuff, although there was plenty of Batman and Detective as well. As I said, plop. More action. I'm just going to go through these kind of quick. I pulled out most of the keys, although there are probably some decent keys that I overlooked, especially some stuff that might be in a little bit lower grade. This one is kind of funny. That's a Neil Adams cover. On the action, Binky #79. Meet 5 groovy guys, the Osmond brothers, and yeah, Binky's getting some action. So let's take a look at the short boxes here. I'll just go handheld here. Like I said, plop. Some more Bronze Batman. Neil Adams cover. Detective, Bronze Detective. Ferrolad, Joseph Ferrolad. Neil Adams Legion cover. I think this is the first appearance of Dr. Regulus, Sunboy's Origin. House of Mystery with the Martian Manhunter there. 10-cent Adventure Comics, $2.85. This is actually, that's kind of a key. That is, no, it's not. $2.85. It is a Bizarro World. This is, I think that's the first Spectre in Adventure. Lois Lane, that Jim Aparo run. Superman, 80-page giant. So bronze Superman, silver Superman. Neil Adams cover there. Neil Adams. He did a lot of covers in the day. Well, that's a good one. Superman and Captain Thunder, who's kind of a, that was a prelude to when Shazam would appear. That's a good one. Another 80-pager. This guy. Remember him in a Power Girl series later on. Some Lois Lane, not a lot of Lois. Some Jimmy, 80-page giant there. Just a ton of DC stuff. Silver and bronze. Most of the stuff, even though not bagged and boarded, just fell solidly into mid-grade. I have to go through. There are a few of these that have to go into the PC that we're going to save. I'm not sure what to do. I think do they have the entire Supergirl run? That's a good one. I think this is Death of Fear Lad in this one. Early Adventure. Lois marries Bruce. Just kind of going through these kind of quickly. There were a few Bob Hopes in there. Another Neil Adams cover. Plop, plop, plop. I think maybe the first 18 issues of that book were all in there. Supergirl 8. Zatanna and Supergirl. She was a backup feature in a few of those books. Luck Lords, that's a good one. And then this is a cool Batman and Robin and the Adventures of Jerry Lewis and the Joker. Jerry Lewis, DC Giant. Jerry Lewis and Bob Hope. Early issues of Rima the Jungle Girl, who actually was part of the Super Friends in the late 70s. So, Jimmy Olsen, Spectre and Adventure. Strange Adventures with Adam Strange. Strange Sports Stories. A lot of World's Finest. These checkerboard World's Finest covers. This is an early. I think this is missing the back cover. Checkerboard. This is, I think, the second appearance of Batgirl. Second or third. Let's double check that. Another DC special with Strange Sports Stories. Joker #2. Little Da Binky. Some Mystery in Space with, I think, that Ultraman. That same Jerry Lewis one. Ultra. Here's a really bizarre, the Multi-Alien. I've never really read his stories. Sea Devils, 100-page Superman family. There was also a pretty solid run. This is some later bronze stuff. I'll just kind of flip through. There's another World's Finest. There was a number of Commandy issues, or Plop, Justice Inc. I'll just kind of flip through. There's a Dead Man. That's a good one. This one I have to keep for the PC. That's a 1972 book, Inferior 5. Sports Stories, Superman. So, Justice League. It's in rough shape. And I'm going through these quickly. Let's go through the biggest keys. So there are a lot of DC books, as you can see. It's probably 2.5 short boxes. Once I culled the DC out, because I was separating this collection: Marvel, DC, Independent, Golden Age, Adult. So the DC, these are some of the bigger books. Anthro, with Showcase #74, first appearance of Anthro. who is like a cave boy. This is something, there is a page missing. It doesn't affect the story, but this is something I'm keeping for the PC because I really like this story when I read it, reprinted as a kid. World's Finest number 142, low grade. This is the first appearance of the composite Superman. More than 20 superpowers. The guy basically, through some bizarre science fiction-y explanation, gets the powers of every member of the Legion of Superheroes. Just a cool story, a pretty cool character that they've revisited every once in a while. Plop. I said there was a lot of plop. Here's issue number 1, and these are in pretty high grade. There are a lot of interesting characters. That cover's by Basil Wolverton. There's Sergio Aragonés did a lot of work on this book as well. And what's interesting is I never picked this book up as a kid. I think this came out in 72 or 73. I remember being advertised. No ads in this. The stories even on the inside covers. Then Detective 369. This is the first team up of Robin and Batgirl, and he's like, "Let go, Batman. You know, come on. Who are you gonna want to spend your time with?" Some Jack Kirby goodness. Commandy number 1 from late 1972. This is when Kirby, DC was kind of curtailing his Fourth World projects and moved him over to do that and a couple of other titles. This is World's Finest number 154, the first appearance of the Super Sons. This is an imaginary story. Kal-El Jr. and Bruce Wayne Jr. So obviously that is not Damian up there. World's Finest did revisit the Super Sons later on. This is a 10-cent Adventure Comics 286. This is the point in time where the Bizarros had kind of taken over the cover appearances with some frequency. Not every issue, but they did have a couple of cover appearances because Superboy was the main feature. Bizarro World was the backup. And I think this is the first Bizarro Mixtures Pitlick. Nice Neil Adams, Batman 229. This is a Neil Adams cover also, but the key significance of Action 419 is the first appearance of, see up there, the Human Target, who had his own TV series and has had I think Tom King is writing the run now. That's very well received. I think it was nominated for an Eisner, I believe. World's Finest 199. This is the third Superman Flash race, also a Neil Adams cover. Was it 199 issues? I know it was Superman 199. Was it Flash 199, the second team up? I think they just like to jump in on 199s. This is just a cool early detective. A 10-center 280. This science fiction era of Batman. And then you go into the Bronze Age. This is a little bit different, not quite as campy. This controversial cover, as they call it. And then late Golden Age. Look at this. Plastic Man number 56. This is technically not a DC book. This is Quality Comics before DC bought them. DC bought Quality Comics out, and some of the titles continue. Plastic Man did not. Black Hawk did, and GI Combat did. I think there was a romance title that continued as well, but DC got the rights to Plastic Man, and there were other characters they had as well who became the Freedom Fighters. Phantom Lady, Human Bomb, Uncle Sam, Black Condor, the Ray, and one other. And then later Firebrand, and they also had characters like the Red Bee and Captain Triumph. Joker number 1. I was looking at this. I'm like, look, the front cover looks like, with a press, it could be in the 9s, but there's a piece missing on the corner of the back cover. Always got to look at the back cover. 186. This is a book that's gained key significance recently. It's the first appearance of Gaggy the Clown. Another Batman 156. This classic cover. One of many Robin is Dead covers. This is a cool one. 179 lower grade. There's some tape on the cover, but this is the second Silver Age appearance of the Riddler. And then we have a nice Carmine Infantino cover of the second appearance of Mr. Freeze. Actually, the first time he's called Mr. Freeze. This is several years after Batman 121, which is Mr. Zero. I think that's from the late 50s, actually. This is probably close to 10 years later. Batman 183, which is this kind of cool homage to the TV series, or nod to the TV series. This second appearance of Poison Ivy. 371, another early Batgirl appearance. Action Comics 340, the first appearance of the Parasite. And this book is very similar to, I'm not sure if it came out, how long it came out, but you can see right here, double page pinup of Superman. This is much like Batman 181, the first appearance of Poison Ivy, that has that Batman and Robin pinup. This, and this book does have it, has a pinup of Superman. So you have to, if you ever find this in the wild, you do have to check to make sure it has the pinup. Frequently incomplete. Demon #1. No, we talked about the Commandy, that Jack Kirby run. So this is a character that's been heating up lately. A lot of people thinking that Demon may come to the movies or the TV for DC. This is just another early 10-cent action. 251. I'm not sure if this has significance in and of itself. It's actually the issue before Supergirl's debut. She came out in 252. That was not in the collection. And then a couple of these. This is cool. Golden Age. Green Lantern 36. Oddly enough, Streak the Wonder Dog makes the cover, not Green Lantern. We just see Green Lantern's face in the trade dress. He's not on the cover. It's Streak the Wonder Dog. This was just kind of a sign of the times. I think there were just a few issues left. Unfortunately, this is missing the back cover. And then another Golden Age book. It's lower grade. Adventure Comics 106. I think this is the 5th or 6th time Superboy is in Adventure Comics. I've been looking for a copy of Adventure 104 because I'm collecting May of 1946. This is July of 1946, so I missed by 2 months. Have not been able to get. I'm kind of looking for a raw copy. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack to find Adventure 104. So those are the DC books. Let's look at Marvel. So I've been continuing to go through this collection. And it was actually 3 collections in one. There's a lot of Silver and Bronze DC that I'm still going through. And what was weird is the person I bought it from, they kind of do antiques and house cleanouts. And they had a collection of 80s and 90s stuff. Some books. This book was in a top loader. This book, which is like on its best day, maybe a 4, was in a top loader. Like anything with foil, the collector put in a top loader. So most of that stuff is kind of like junk. But there was a lot of good Silver and Bronze Marvel. Giant Size Spider-Man #4. That's the 3rd appearance of the Punisher. And then an annual #4 with the Human Torch. Marvel did annuals into the early 70s, and then the Giant Size took really the place of the annuals for a while. There were a bunch of Western books. Let me just make sure this box isn't messed up. There we go. Bunch of Westerns. Some Silver Age. Some of them were in really sharp shape. Others also a little bit of horror. Son of Satan, Marvel Spotlight 22. Doctor Strange, really awesome Frank Bruner cover. Captain America. Some of the Silver Age stuff was in pretty nice shape. The only problem with it was some of it, and you can see it kind of there. There was some tanning because none of this stuff was in bags. That being said, it did kind of hold up fairly well. And then a lot of these kind of 20-cent Silver Age, 25-cent, because some of these 25 centers are square bounds. A lot of Westerns. Unfortunately, there's a 15-center Rawhide Kid. Some of the Westerns were water damaged, and some of them were so badly water damaged I just had to throw them out. But some of these are in pretty high grade. This one, not so much. But it was kind of a mix. There was like a handful in one section of the collection that was really nice, and then a handful where a lot of them were water damaged. So I'm just going to kind of go through quicker these. Again, a lot of Western. A lot of 20-cent Western from like the early 70s, like 72 to 74. And some of these 25 centers, which are, I think, 80 pagers maybe. Some of these were new material and some of these were reprints. And then back to superheroes. Tales of Suspense. Weird Wonder Tales #1. That's pretty cool. Tomb of Dracula. Lil Kids. Marvel was really expanding their line here in the early 70s. A lot of different books, including a lot of reprint books. Star Wars, that's the Whitman, #5. Fantasy Masterpieces, a Silver Age reprint of Golden Age books. Western, more Western. I think these are the higher grade Westerns here. These were the ones that, and then Amazing Spider-Man Annual 5, I believe this is where we find out what happened to Peter Parker's parents. We got first introduced or mentioned for the first time. Decent batch of Invaders. These middling issues, none of the big keys, but some minor keys in here. And I do believe we're going to see some sort of version or some sort of allusion to Union Jack in Secret Invasion. I think Olivia Colman's character is supposed to play a descendant of the World War II Union Jack. Man from Atlantis. Unfortunately, no #1. But 2, 3, 4. Then reprint books. Captain America. Eternals 11. That's the first appearance of somebody. Tiamut, maybe? Marvel's Greatest was the Fantastic Four reprint book. More Western. Howard the Duck randomly. Marvel Superheroes reprinted the Tales to Astonish, Submariner, Hulk books. Stories. So, yeah, a number of those. Then these Iron Mans, these early, issue #8, some of these were in really nice shape. Again, the problem was the tanning. #7, 14. These are nice books. Let me jump ahead a little bit. Nice cocaine cover. High grade 37. 19. No, 55. What was it, 53? There's some Not Brand X in there. That was the, like a humor satire book. I collected those in really rough shape when I was a kid. A spoof, takeoff on the 1972 movie Blackula and the TV show Marcus Welby, which, if you're younger than me, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, especially in terms of Marcus Welby. Doctor Strange. And then there was a nice run of Hulk, including some really good keys like this one. First Doc Samson. It's a good book. This is first Jarella. This is the first version of this Valkyrie. It's not Barbara Norris, it's somebody else. Dr. Doom cover there. That's cool. This is a spec that came and went. The first and only appearance of Krylar, the character that Bill Murray played in Quantumania. The first appearance of Wendigo. That's a nice book. So some nice 20-cent Hulks. And then what do we got? The last of this, Doctor Strange. A few more modern books. Secret Wars 1. That's the first print. Marvel Team Up 15 with Ghost Rider. Nice book here, Marvel Spotlight 1, Red Wolf. People have been speculating on that character. And look at this book. This is a nice one. Tales of Suspense 37. a pre-hero book. I'm pretty sure Ditko has a story in here. Might be a Ditko cover. Does have a little bit of damage on the bottom, but for a book of this age, that's really nice. Didn't have a 39. But so that's most of the Marvel books. Let's go through the best books that were here. These are amongst the best books. They've been kind of set aside to begin with. Up first, we have a copy of Fantastic Four 21. This is the first appearance of the Hate Monger, and also the first time that Nick Fury crosses over into the superhero titles. And the Hate Monger is visually kind of a, at best, dated character. I'm not sure if anything could be done with a Hate Monger going forward, but I mean, you know, at least as visually depicted here. This is a really cool book. Unfortunately, it does have some odd damage. It's a nice looking book otherwise. It's Ghost Rider #1, the first ongoing Ghost Rider series and first appearance of Damien Hellstrom. But look right there. There's like that rip. A strange rip down in that policeman's just like obliterated. Lower grade, maybe a 3, you know, and you can kind of look past that, a well-presenting 3. This is structurally not a bad book. It does have Marvel chipping at the top. It's Captain America 109. This is that a Steranko cover? Or is that Kirby? I think it's Steranko. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Here he's coming out of the newspaper. It retells his origin. I think this is the first time in the Silver Age it's retold, if I'm not correct. But it's a really nice copy, but it is somewhat tanned. If I were one of those alchemists who works with the bled treatment, could probably get this nice, because, you know, all the newsprint, it does look nice and white. This is a reasonably high-grade copy. Not high 9s, but maybe 8.59. Amazing Spider-Man 252. First black suit newsstand. It does have, you can see in the corner there, a little crease. Fairly small. This book will improve with a clean and a press. We saw a number of Hulk books in the collection. Didn't have 180 or 181, unfortunately, but it did have 182, and this is pretty high grade. I think this is like in the 8 or 8.5 range. Maybe even higher with if it presses out right. There's really nothing. It's like a crunch in the bottom corner there. Little fold there. Yeah, maybe 8.5, I think. A 9 would be very optimistic. This is a good book. A lot of these have tanning in them because a lot of the books were these silver and bronze weren't they weren't in bags or, you know, they're just kind of sitting there, and they had some exposure to the elements. Even when like the gloss was good, there was some tanning on the edges of these books. And this is Iron Man #1, that classic cover. You know, that point in time where they were expanding the titles. So Iron Man #1 is a good book. This, I had gotten a copy of this recently, and now we have another one. Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1 with the Sinister Six. This book really heated up leading into No Way Home. The fact that we did not see a Sinister Six, we saw a group of 5. I mean, we did see just Doc Ock, Sandman, and Electro. So we saw half of them, even though Vulture and Mysterio have both been in the MCU, and Kraven is coming to the Sonyverse. But we never saw 6. Now, this is an interesting book, and I'm when I open it up, you know, it's a good, solid mid-grade. Silver Surfer #1. Much like Iron Man, when Marvel got their own distributor and were no longer distributed through the distributors that DC basically controlled, and they could expand the number of titles, they did, to, you know, kind of split up Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, Strange Tales, and also add new titles. And then as they got into the 70s, they added a lot of new titles in different genres, and a lot of those reprint titles. But anyway, Silver Surfer #1, a collectible series in that there are only 18 issues, but 1, 3, and 4 are very big issues. I do have all of them, so this is cool. And I'm not sure that the spine in this is really no damage to the spine. I opened it up; it doesn't even open up all the way. I'm just hoping that's because nobody read it. You know, there is some damage there. It's hard to tell in the bag, but that is a nice copy. And finally, not a perfect copy in terms of condition. Does have some tanning, does have some chipping on the back cover because the tanning made some of the book a little bit brittle. But you talk about using the hobby to fund the hobby, right? So kind of the goal is you buy a collection and you want to make a profit, right? But part of that also includes you want to keep some books for yourself from the collection. You hope the worst is if you keep some books that you really want and you break even, that's the worst thing that happens. You get some books for free. So I'm hoping that in keeping this book, I can still, there are a couple of other minor books that I'm going to keep. I'm not sure about any of the bigger ones. But this has been a book that's been on my list since last year. And really, because I've been collecting all the DC books from 1972, I'm still running down some of those. But I'm also collecting all the Marvel keys from 1972. And I already have all the DC key issues. And on the whole, they're not as expensive as the Marvel ones. But this is the most expensive Marvel key from 1972. This collection came with a copy of it. So right now, this is going in the PC. It's Marvel Spotlight 5, the first appearance of Ghost Rider. I probably will get this graded, just because then if I do either A, come across a better copy I can upgrade, or B, I have the option, if we do get a spike in prices, if there is a Ghost Rider property or a Ghost Rider casting announced, that I could flip the book and then probably get it back cheaper later on. So those are the biggest books in the collection. So there you have it. I went through a lot of that collection. There's still a lot to dig through. And it just kind of gives you an idea. When you pick up a collection, there's a lot of work involved. You have to sort it out, and then sort it out how you're going to deal with it. You know, probably if you're buying a collection, you're not doing it to collect. You're not using it to keep everything. But you're going to turn some stuff over. How are you going to sell it? So, you know, rebagging and boarding, reorganizing, grading. Oh my goodness. Especially like modern books, you can kind of go, yeah, that's high grade, high grade, high grade. But when you start to deal with books from Bronze Age and earlier, you got to do page counts, you got to check for clipped coupons, missing Marvel value stamps, detached centerfolds, detached covers, rusty staples, all that sort of stuff. Restoration. So that takes a lot of time to do. So, you know, I broke down that entire collection. It's been, I think the last 3 weeks I've already been selling it on Whatnot. So there is some of it left. The bigger books have started to go out to CGC. So we'll see when those come back. The Spotlights I'm probably going to sit on for a while, just because there's no rush. I'm keeping in the PC for now. So thanks for joining me on this lengthy video. This crazy ride. I just kind of cobbled together pieces of videos that I've done over the last like 3 weeks, putting this all together. And thanks for stopping by. I always appreciate it when you're on you join me on the channel. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.